Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Max Attack Motorsports. On today's episode, we're going to be continuing our time attack build for Das Boot, which is our 2003 Volkswagen Golf GTI. So if you guys watched the last video, we did the SAI, evap delete, the whole emission stuff came out, and then we also changed the valve cover gasket. So if you guys are trying to get any of that stuff done, just make sure you guys scroll through all the videos and see what we got. But today we're going to be installing our turbo inlet pipe. So I got this from a place just near where I live, Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, DOS Parts. Yeah, give them a call if you guys need anything locally. I'm not sure if they do any shipping, but don't be afraid to ask. Anyway, so this is just an ECS tuning. Silicone turbo inlet pipe. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be plugging this thing up right here. I'm also going to be plugging this. So these were two items that came off of that was part of the whole evap and emissions kind of routing. And then over here we're going to have our diverter valve will be in one of these holes, and then the second one is we're going to be running our catch can setup. So this would have been where your hockey puck would have been, or yeah, so I'm not going to worry about the catch can tonight, but we're at least going to try to get this thing in, and I'll be doing a catch can episode following this. And then also we have our N75, I believe it's called. That is where this will go. Also installing from ECS, this comes with a kit, is just yeah, your hose clamps. So pretty basic. I mean, we have this guy right here, which I assume is going to be down at the turbo. This guy over here, which will most likely be at your MAF sensor. And then these two guys, which I believe are going to be for your diverter valve and for my PVC setup. So, or PCV, sorry, PCV. Always make that mistake. And then over here we have some fittings that are used just for, you know, just reducers. We have a plug in here, so that's definitely going to help. We also went out and got ourselves, so this is a forged diverter valve. I'm not sure of the actual part number. I got this off a buddy, but I'm pretty sure this is the 007. So there is no venting to atmosphere. It's just going to go straight back into the air setup. So, and then we'll be installing today our short ram kind of setup. So I bought this locally for a good deal. Yeah, it's just kind of a heater box here that was painted in like a weird gray that I kind of stripped down the best I could down to the aluminum, and then almost done it, but we put our DEI wrap on it. So as you guys can see here, I went out and bought some more. I'm going to be just kind of cleaning this up a bit, and I'm actually going to be wrapping some of the hose. So that's another thing we're going to be doing. And then the filter, just a CTS filter, nothing too crazy. I tell people all the time, I mean, you can make your own intake systems, no problem. It's piping, that's not the issue. It's just as long as you have proper silicone connectors and a good solid quality filter, you'll be okay. So yeah, let's get the hood up on this thing and get going. So this is where we left off last time. As you can see, the whole evap delete is done. Still waiting on coolant temp sending unit here for the sensor, as well as I gotta pick some coolant up, and I'm waiting on some silicone hose that I'm gonna be using for the diverter valve. Now if you're gonna put this turbo inlet pipe on your whole stock setup with the emissions, then you would pretty much just, you know what I mean, pretty much take all this stuff out, including the hockey puck, which is not here anymore, but and then put everything back into place. And then don't forget that at the bottom of your turbo inlet pipe, you're going to have that one line that runs up into the Crombie valve, I believe it is. So because mine's a little bit of a different setup, this should help some people that are going to be doing it with the whole evap delete. So but yeah, what you're going to pretty much do is you know, this line right here, which was a part of the whole evap setup, is obviously gone. I showed you guys on the ECS pipe where that plug's going to be. other than that, you know, you're gonna have your standard hose clamps that are going to be holding this down, the diverter valve. So like I already went ahead in the last video and took it off, so pretty basic stuff. With the hockey puck, that's taken out already. You can see here I still have the clamp, which is nice because then I can keep that around. And then what we're going to do is take off this N75 right here and then work our way down to the bottom of where the pancake pipe, as I like to call it, or as many people call it, is. Okay guys, so we got everything kind of cleared out of the way here now. So like I said, pretty basic. Once you get this clamp off, right there, you just kind of squeeze her. I'll take your this N75 valve out. Just kind of keep it out of the way. Just remember, it's got wiring that's attached to your water temp sensor, so try not to stretch it too far. Diverter valve, very, very easy. Same thing with the hockey puck, pretty basic stuff, right? This right here, so this was cut off the Crombie valve, so that just runs down pretty much to where your turbo is. I'm going to show you guys in a second. You know what I mean? So if you're doing the evap delete, you can go ahead and cut that, because you're not going to be needing it for your next pipe. But if you are going to be running your evap stuff still, and the whole emission thing, you're going to want to keep this. So this will go up all the way to where your Crombie valve is, into all that hardline stuff. And then just make sure down at the turbo, like I said, I'm going to show you, you just take it off from there. And then same thing with this guy, right? So let's go underneath and just take a look, actually, before I really get going. That way you guys can actually see underneath the car. So you can see we got some coolant still here. This is from the other day. Trying not to get too dirty, but okay. So as you guys can see, we got the heat shield here. This is from the exhaust, obviously, that goes over your CV shaft. I removed that previously just because so when I bought this car, the exhaust was pretty much rotted from the downpipe back, so we took the downpipe off. I do have a Miltech 3-inch downpipe coming in, but I'm gonna wait on that install to show you guys. There's the turbo right there, and I'm very happy that none of these studs broke. It's just caked in some rust resistant stuff right now. Hopefully that should be okay. So anyways, you're gonna want to, if you guys can see this, yeah, okay. So this is where your heat shield would be. So if I turn this thing upside down here, there you go. So this thing will go into where these two 16mm bolts are. So, you know what I mean, it's just a lot easier to get out of the way. If I could take the shaft off, I would, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Anyway, so if you look up here, there is an Allen key bolt that's gonna have to come out. And then if you look up even farther, I try to get my two hands up there, but this right there, so that is your other line that runs up to where your Crombie valve would go to, that I showed you guys that I cut. So yeah, we're not going to need that, like I said. So we're going to make sure that when I put mine in, I'm going to plug it. So yeah, what you want to do is you're going to want to remove this Allen key bolt, and then you're going to have to pry the inlet pipe off. So I'm going to try to do this as best I can. It's a little hard with the camera, I'm not gonna lie guys, but yeah, just let me get out of here and then I will show you guys when it's complete. Alright guys, so it's a bit of a pain to get this thing out, but what I did was, so I went underneath, so that that kind of bolt that I showed you here, let me just flip this around for you. So that Allen key bolt that goes right up against there, so picture the turbo being on this side, is exactly where that is right there. So that's just a 5mm. So if it focuses in, probably won't, but anyway, so this is a 5mm Allen bolt. Just make sure you have a good grip on it when you go to use it, that way you don't strip it. Anyways, I do think a better way would be if you can remove this clip and remove the actual top part of the housing. Would be a lot easier, but yeah, other than that, just kind of moving stuff around, you know what I mean, kind of helps and stuff like that. But like, you can see the difference of like how restrictive this this actually is. Like, look at the difference between them. You know what I mean? Like, the pancake right there is just, oh, that's just a killer for air supply. But yeah, so let's just go underneath again. I'll show you guys quickly here. Looking at, if you guys can see it. So there it is right there. So that section, that is where your turbo pipe will go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to feed this down the best we can. I would suggest, you know, making sure that you have your clamp, your hose clamp ready to go, and if you can maneuver in a way so that you know what I mean, if you have to put your screwdriver up to tighten it, you have it facing maybe somewhere over in it's kind of hard, sorry, this top area. So this top area over here, that way that when you're, you know, I mean, you have to loosen it or whatever, you don't have to worry about the CV shaft in the way. You can just go straight up. Now I will admit that having the downpipe actually removed helps immensely. Like, I was able to, like, you know, I mean, obviously I can move my hands everywhere here, so yeah, I know it's a lot to take these downpipes off, especially if they're, like, you know, I mean, heat seized and rotted and everything, but it definitely helped here. And you know, I mean, just food for thought, if you guys are ever going to do this upgrade, maybe do it at the same time you're going to put an aftermarket downpipe on. So yeah, I'm going to try to get this thing fed down, and then we're going to yeah, get the clamp on. So we're going to put the pipe in now. So I pretty much, as you can see, get a bit of a wrap. It's not the cleanest of wraps, just because there's so many ports on it, but you know, I mean, at least I know it'll be functional. It should reflect the heat pretty good. I didn't go like super tight on it because I mean, silicone will expand a little bit, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you know what I mean, I figured I might as well get the hottest side of it as I can right now. As you can see, I put a cap on the line that was coming from the Crombie valve, so it should be okay. You know, I mean, after all, this thing is going to be sucking air. It's not going to be like pushing air out, so I'm not going to worry about clamping it. If for whatever reason I do have an issue, it comes off, you know, I mean, I'll address it at the time. But sorry, I just had a bee just flown out of me there. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to finish this when I get some more of this gold tape. I might just have to order a little bit more, but other than that, yeah, let's get it on. So we're going to go in here and select our clamps that we're going to need to mount everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this guy right here, which I believe is the one to mount onto the turbo, and then we'll get this thing installed. Alright guys, so this thing's on now, and let me tell you what a huge bitch it was to get it on. So lucky enough I got my wife inside there that was able to come out to help me, but you guys didn't see it there. So pretty much you kind of have to push it through. The only thing that's really annoying is that there's this, I think it's one of the hard lines for the heating. So that thing's in a way, then you have to deal with the shifter cables here. But anyways, yeah, if you have two people, it helps a lot. Like, honestly, it makes a huge difference. But yeah, I pretty much had her come out, nightgown and all, but that's why she's a champ. And she kind of pushed everything down as I can, like, kind of guide it into the spot there on the turbo. The one thing that was hard is I wasn't able to get the clamp on and push everything through without it keep falling off. So to be honest, I just kind of unscrewed this clamp until it completely came apart and then wrapped it around, which was a huge pain just because my hands are only so small that can fit in this area. But yeah, it's really tight on there now. I pushed it as far over as I can to make sure it's actually on the piece that's supposed to be on the turbo there. And then, like I said earlier, you can see how, kind of see it a bit, but you can see how I positioned the actual screws. So if I do, for whatever reason, I hope to God not have to go back up in there, it's mostly just a straight up, straight shot up in this area. So, oh yeah, so that part's done. Let's go back up top and we'll get all the other stuff in there, all the valves and the diverter stuff. So let's get that stuff set up. We're back up top here. So yeah, from this point forward, you're pretty much just kind of plugging and playing with everything. So, you know what I mean, give it a couple tugs. Like, honestly, it's on there pretty good. Like, the worst thing that could happen, really, it just blows back off. Hopefully I don't detonate my motor, but yeah, other than that, this is a good time, you know what I mean, just kind of get everything organized. So for the diverter valve, it's pretty standard. You're going to put it back in that stock location. I'm going to do that with all the clamps. I just try to show everything with you guys in one hand. For the catch can setup, so this is something that I'm trying to work with right now. So this is my 3/4 barb to barb I got off Amazon. So I'm probably going to have to put the reducer in, and then with that reducer, I'm going to be running, kind of explain everything here. So I'm going to be running 3/4 heater hose, which is only going to come up to a certain bit, and then I'm going to have a fitting that I picked up from ECS that is the 10 AN fitting with the 3/4 barb for the catch can setup, which like I said earlier, I will mount later on. But for the meantime, yeah, I'm going to see how this is going to work out. And then our N75 valve is going to go back in here, and then ECS provided this this little plug, which I assume is going to go into here, so I'm going to put that in, and then we're going to proceed to put our MAF sensor back in. Now, I don't know if I have the nuts and bolts today to actually mount, not the box, but to put this into the box. So hopefully I do. If not, I'll just mock it up for you guys so you guys can kind of get a good idea for what the look of it is. But yeah, so let's get all this stuff in here and route everything. We're not going to be routing our diverter valve today just because I don't have the hosing for it, but I will show you how you would route it for you know what I mean, if you're using your evap delete. All right guys, so you can see, so this is one of the adapters that came from ECS right there, which fits perfectly with my 3/4 barb for the catch can setup. So yeah, we're just gonna put this back. I'll make sure you put the clamp on here. This will go in like so. So there you go guys, you guys can see that in there. So fairly tight, but not too tight. And that thing's got a good seal on it. If for whatever reason we have a vacuum leak, at least we know the first couple places to check. So once that is in there, then we can move on to our diverter valve. Hopefully you guys can still see. Got this thing sitting right on the coil pack right now. So I found the easiest way to do this actually is just loosen these clamps just a little bit. At least these are the ones from CS or ECS. So we're gonna toss this bad boy back on. There we go, give it a couple twists. So yeah, so there's the diverter valve. This will be for our catch can. So let me just continue on here with getting the N75 back on, and then we'll review when we're all done. So got everything hooked back up. So the diverter valve's in there, nice forged 007. Got the or the N75 valve in there, as well as the 3/4 hose barb that we're going to be using for our catch can. And yeah, we're just going to kind of keep the wiring all out of the way here. We got our plug, and then I actually went ahead and put, you can kind of see it, a clamp on that other vacuum port over there just to be safe. I'm not sure if I like that being right beside one of the heater lines, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so what you're going to do at this point too is you're going to run your vacuum hose. So if you are going to be running it with the SAI evap delete, you're going to run the hose up from here, find proper routing where it's not going to get interfered with, and you're going to be running it to this port under there. So yeah, that's if you're running with the SAI delete. If not, then you're going to pretty much just do what the stock diverter valve does and come straight off of this and then back onto the Crombie valve is. So at this point, we're going to put our map sensor on and test fit our short ram intake box. As you guys can see, we're coming along here. We're just going to install the filter right after this. So with the box, pretty basic. It's just going to go into your stock location. The guy that bought this off, the tab is broken on the bottom, so I just put an extra washer down there. But yeah, other than that, it fits pretty good. The only thing I had to do was I had to trim this back about an inch or so. So it's not the most perfect cut, but I'm gonna see if I can just kind of get a little bit more on it just to make it better. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So let's just for the MAF sensor here, I just used two this is 11 mil nut, and then on the other side it's just like a flathead type thing. So just be careful when you guys are installing this that you don't crack the ears on the MAF sensor, because that's the last thing you're gonna want to buy, is that, especially after doing all this work. But yeah, other than that, it sits in there pretty good. Just gonna touch up a couple things and then we'll see how the filter gets in there, and then that should take care of the turbo inlet pipe, the silicone one, and a short ram install. So everything's in there now. Just to give you guys some reference, like that's how much I really cut off. The last one, I literally just used a hacksaw to get a perfect cut, and then I just took a vacuum, shop vac or whatever you guys have, just to get all the fibers out, and then I actually ran the tube from the vacuum into the turbo pipe here just to get any sort of debris that was in there. That's the last thing I want, is anything going into that turbo. So yeah, fitting this thing was no problem at all. You know what I mean? That thing's in there no problem with you can see there's plenty of room for the actual clamp to sit in there. Again, just give this thing a cleaning. You might as well do it while you have it in your hands. Make sure everything's nice and tight. So yeah, the only thing we're going to do now, when I get the parts for it, is obviously I'm going to finish wrapping up this the gold tape on here, which really shouldn't be hard at all. I'll probably have to give it just a wipe down a bit for I mean, that way I can get the adhesive on the back of the tape to actually work. And then eventually when my line comes in for the vacuum lines for the diverter valve, I'll be doing that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed another video. Hopefully it was pretty easy to follow along. The biggest thing I can say is, if you're gonna go with the ECS one, just remember you're gonna have to do some trimming. Make sure all your vacuum lines are routed the way you're gonna run your car, whether it's with no evap or no emission stuff, or with the whole emissions setup. So you just gotta make sure you think about that. Other than that, like, the turbo pipe itself was pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. It's just getting it on the actual turbo. If you have two people, it's just nice to have someone from the top kind of push it down when you're underneath to mount it on there. And if you can take off the downpipe, it helps pretty big actually, just so you can get your hands in there. So yeah, thanks guys for watching another one. Stay tuned for some more stuff. I'm hoping to get to Cars and Coffee this week if possible. You know, I mean, get some more interviews and everything. But as far as the DOS boot goes, yeah, this is where we're at right now, and hoping to get the catch can in there shortly. So stay tuned guys, take care.